Hello and welcome to Kriti. Let's take a look at the quote to cash process within the ERP system. But before that, let's understand what does the quote to cash involves. So the basic scenario will be the customer actually inquiring about a product or a services that he would like to avail from the company. Thereby, it starts from the generally the quotation process. Now, in this example, I've got registration of the customer, generating the lead and opportunity. That's just to give you a background of. It could also start from the leads coming from the inquiry from your portal or in your social media platform, etc. Basically, you would like to get the services inquired. So that's where all these things happen, and typically the process begins with the customer requesting for a quotation and the sales team generating the code that includes the product or services along with quantity, price, and any discounts that you would like to apply. You can do that. And then there will be a negotiations where customer might want to have the negotiated prices as well, depending upon the size of the deal itself. Now, followed by the sales order creation. Now, here in this example, we will take a look at the two different methods by which the sales order can be generated. So we'll take an example of a service delivery and not the product itself. Now, the product we've already covered in the order to cash process. Now, for the quote to cash, we'll only stick to the two different types of contracts that we'll create. One is for the time and material, and also the second one is milestone-based billing. Now, in the time and material billing, you will have an agreement on what the services that you would like to avail, and then how the whole project is managed. So, for example, if you have a decor company and you would like to provide an architectural services to corporates or even the individuals, you would like to create that as a project plan, and then all that is linked with the contract itself. Now, all of that happens within the system. So this is where we'll look at the code creation to sales order generation, followed by depending upon the services that we choose in the order creation itself. We could go with the milestone-based billing or time and material billing, and the entire flow will happen within the ERP system. Now let's switch quickly onto the ERP system and try and create the sales order itself. The way to get to this screen is go to the hamburger menu in the ERP and click on create the new quotation. So I'll just take one of the customer example, and I will create. Now in this example, I will just start with the simplest process, which is basically the milestone-based billing. Now for the purpose of the demo, I will just create. The customer would like to renovate his bedroom, and then he's trying to repair some of the leakages within his bedroom. So let's do that as a repair service, and the quotation that we're really talking about is 40 hours is the time that's required, and then there's a unit price against that, and then the calculation is being taken care. Now you would like to apply, let's say, the 5% discount on the rate card because it's a return customers, and then you can apply that, and then all of that is calculated here. And then as you can see, there's a cost associated with this repair service, and based on the cost that we maintain at the master data, it's automatically calculating the margins. Now this particular feature is exclusively to this ERP. Not many ERPs offer this service, but we have that margin calculation, and depending upon your user profile and the user roles, that will be visible. So it's always good to have that exposed to the certain senior member of the sales team, so that they can actually check and offer the best rates possible to the customers. Now, since we have already created it, so this will go as a milestone-based billing because there's no background project that's linked to it. So it's a simple milestone-based billing, and it's a 40 hours. So he can say that I would like to bill once the initial billing will be like 10% of the cost will be initially billed as a down payment, and then the 50% will get billed at the midway of 20 hours finishing, or half the repair is complete, and the final billing will be at the 40 hours. So let's look at all of those things shortly. So let's go ahead and confirm this quotation, and once the customer is happy with the quotation, that can be confirmed, and then obviously the sales order gets created. Now at this point in time, the sales order is fully confirmed and it's logged for everything. Now After this one, you would say that, okay, now I would like to just create the initial down payment invoice. Now you can go ahead and create down payment invoice. And then let's say, as I said, it's about 10% we collect as a down payment. Let's go ahead and create the down payment invoice. Now, for the total value, we calculated the down payment of 10%, and that's about 10% that's calculated, and the invoice is ready for generation. Now, this is the initial invoice that's created, and we are good to go. Okay, so now let's go back to the sales order and then say, let's say the service is delivered and 50% of the job is done. So we can go back here and then say, out of 40 hours, we completed 20 hours and 50% of the job is done. We're good to go, and save this document. Now, once that's saved, what you could do is go ahead and generate the remaining part of the invoice. So here we'll correct the rest of the 40%. So what we'll do is we'll create a regular invoice, and followed by deducting any amount that we actually charged as a down payment. So we'll create a 50% invoice collection at this point in time. So go ahead and create the invoice for another uh, remaining 40%, and this is where you would see invoice is generated and good to confirm it. So this is where all the integrated services will be linked with the invoicing and accounting, and account journal gets posted, and all the integrated modules will be working together. So this is a classic example where you could be simply billing the customers based on the milestone of the services that are rendered from the company. And then we'll shortly take a look at the how we can also generate the project-based billing, which is a time and material. So all you need to do is create an order with that specific service product, which is the time and material enabled. So in this case, what we did is we kind of created a repair service, which is basically the milestone-based billing. Now we'll just show you once the page loads properly. So that's complete. Now what we'll do is just go back here and then just check all the invoices are fully generated, etc. So let's go back and check the repair service, how it's been set up in the system. So I'll just go to the master data. As soon as you click on that one, it just goes to the master data, and then as you can see, this is a milestone-based billing product, and that's why we have that kind of model where we can actually just go ahead and create the milestone. Now, as we've seen the down payment invoice and also the initial milestone-based billing. So now at this point in time, we'll go ahead and confirm, say, we've completed the full billing and we are good to go. And what happens is I'll just save this document, and we are ready for the invoicing for the remaining part of it. So let's go ahead and create the remaining part of the invoice. So I'll just create the regular invoice, and then it's pretty much the same thing, and the invoice is generated. As you can see, that's the remaining invoice is complete. So for this particular contract, we've actually generated 3 different invoices at a different phases of the service delivery. So this is classic example of how the milestone-based billing works within the ERP system, which is part of the quote to cash journey, right? So let's go back and check the milestone-based billing product. We'll just open up shortly once this loads in the system. So because there's a lot of things happening behind the scene to be able to calculate and adjust the journals and adjust the invoices, etc. And that's why it's taking a little bit longer than the usual the response time itself. So usually all this billing happens behind the scenes, so customer doesn't really have to click manually. There's an automation job that runs every day that can be automated, where the entire billing cycle takes care of generating the invoices, sending automatic emails to the customers, etc. So as you can see, that that invoice is fully complete as well. So that's all been taken care. Now let's go back to another example where we'll just go ahead and create one more quotation, where we'll just select the same customer, and we'll just, now this time around, we'll just say the senior architect for deco services that we would like to do. So as you can see, that one, that's about let's say we will use about 50 hours of senior architect's time, and this is basically the milestone based, the time and material based billing. We have that one, right? So go back and check how this is all based on the timesheet. It says now this is where it's quite interesting to sort of see. So as soon as you create this particular and confirm this particular quotation, so the code is created. That's good. Now what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and create the sales order itself. Now as soon as you create the sales order, keep an eye on it. We will see the project is automatically generated out of this one. So go back and confirm the quotation. And once the quotation is confirmed, as you can see, it's about 50 hours. All those calculations are already been taken care of, the margins, etc. But what's more interesting is because this is not a delivery, physical product delivery, it's a service delivery. There's a project that is created, and at the back of the project, there will be a task list items that gets generated. Now here is where the senior architects within the company can actually start updating. Okay, you've assigning to that task, etc. So I'll just go ahead and say assign this to me, and then I've got that. And now at this point in time, I can just go ahead and add my timesheet. So for example, I started working on this project, and I can say how's design work. So let me say I've just already worked for 20 hours this week, so I'll just put the timesheet. And what happens is this timesheet is available, so I'll just save that one. And then if I go back to a sales order itself, you will see there is a timesheet. The burn rate is been recorded there, and then even at this is at a project level, by the way, and then you can also see what margins, etc. But even at the order level, you would see there is a 20 hours delivered. Now because that's been delivered, that the invoice is available for you to bill the customers. Now I'll just go ahead and create the invoice, and then just say regular invoice, and what happens is just takes that number and automatically generates the invoice itself. Now this is quite interesting because the employees can automatically start updating the tickets. Invoice behind the scenes will automatically get generated, and customer will be billed periodically depending upon your invoice cycles. In all these things, the whole management of the code creation to contract management to the project itself, managing the individual tasks within the project and employees on a daily basis, adding the attendance and also updating their timesheets against the projects. All of that management is pretty easy, and it is very transparent as to how the systems are fully integrated. Now, in addition to that one, you could also see if sometimes during the project delivery, you could see there is a time that's exceeding or extra work that's coming in. So you would have the leeway to monitor the margins, the burn rate, etc., against the project module. So you can refer it to the project management module within that ERP in a separate video, but there's a lot of things that happens in that one. You could monitor that one, the project itself. So if I'll just go back to just one example, just to show you here how the project looks like from the contract. So you can see this, all of this task list that's there. You could also see what the burn rate is, etc. And you can check how the projects are kind of margin wise it's looking, and what the weekly updates, etc. So all of that things are more transparent to the customers. So as you can see that there's a margin of 2,500 hours that's billed, etc. So this is pretty handy tool, and here you can start updating the weekly updates, etc. So this is where the entire project to contract to billing, all of that is tightly integrated. I hope this was helpful. Thank you very much.